Studio One of My Media Prime Television here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. My name is Quinta, and we begin today's edition of Prime News with the maiden edition of the National Women's Convention for Peace in Cameroon, which opened today at the Yaoundé Conference Center with over 1,000 women from all walks of life across the national territory. The peace advocates will for 3 days share best practices to promote social cohesion in the country. Eileen Sama with details.
The 3-day event, which opened today at the Yaoundé Conference Center, groups over 1,000 and more women from Cameroon's 10 regions to discuss one but primordial issue, the promotion of peace in Cameroon. The convention, which according to the organizers, Friedrich Albert Stiftung Foundation, has as objective to send powerful signal that Cameroonian women are longing for peace in the midst of the socio-political crisis plunging the country into turmoil. The peace crusaders from all corners and groups of the society are in the capital city, Yaoundé, to unite their voices for peace to return after 6 years of a blood battle. Amongst them are female traditional and religious leaders, female soldiers, women entrepreneurs, women peace activists, displaced women and girls, victims of war-related violence, women from civil society and political parties, among others. These women will, from July 29 to July 31st, 2021, share their rich experiences and excellent ideas with the goal of fostering the mechanism to speed the return of peace in Cameroon. Meantime, those with very painful memories will be uplifted in a trauma and healing session dubbed Psychosocial Village.
Now, Amnesty International has released eyewitness testimonies and satellite images showing devastating consequences of the ongoing Anglophone crisis. The report highlights a rise in human rights violation in the conflict-hit regions of the country, as Lasha Kingsley tells us in the following report.
As published by Amnesty International on July 28, 2021, has acknowledged the existence of satellite images and eyewitness testimonies which reveal the scale of devastation in the 2 Anglophone regions of Cameroon. The violence between Cameroonian armed forces and the various armed groups erupted in 2017 following protests against discrimination and marginalization. The conflict has since then resulted to the unlawful killing of civilians, kidnappings, and widespread destruction of houses and villages. According to the report published by the UK-based rights group Amnesty International, government intervention in these crisis-stricken zones has been limited, with a near-complete silence from the international community. The organization boasts of documented eyewitness testimonies and analysis of satellite images unveiling the dozens of civilians who have been killed since the start of the Anglophone crisis. Fabian Ofana, Amnesty International Central African researcher, accuses both parties involved in the crisis of human rights violations. He believes that without strong action by the authorities and the international community, civilians will continue to bear the brunt of the crisis. Images released by Amnesty International indicate incidents that occurred between January and April 2021 in the villages of Nsi, Ntong, Ntim, Bui, Koshin, and Kimbi, all in the northwest region of Cameroon. These images show structures which were completely damaged, destroyed by fire, or no longer existing. According to the report, Mwa subdivision has particularly hit by the crisis with the displacement of over 4,200 inhabitants between February 22 and 26 this year. The satellite images are analyzed by Amnesty International equally show some villages that have been destroyed in Mwa subdivision in February 2021. Amnesty International equally highlighted the increasing tensions between between the armed separatists and the Fulanis. The latter has been previously accused by the separatist fighters of collaborating with government authorities. Between June and July 2021, at least 4 policemen were killed in an ambush near the town of Balinyonga in the northwest region of Cameroon. 2 gendarmerie officers were also killed and beheaded in Babaju in the west region of Cameroon. Another example highlighted was the killing by the army in Bamenda 3 subdivision of a civilian man driving in a car. Fabian Ofana pleads on the international community to publicly call on the Cameroonian authorities to urgently initiate impartial investigations into allegations of human rights violations, as well as prosecute those suspected of criminal responsibilities if found guilty in fair trials before the law.
Still ahead, 4 persons have been confirmed dead following an accident at their cleave on the National Road number 1 in Gandhi, the Mawa region of Cameroon. The accident, which occurred Wednesday, July 28, involves a bus belonging to the NAI agency. Details right ahead. Blood has again spilled on one of Cameroon's major highways, this time at the La Falaise Dende Cleave on the National Road number 1 in Gandhi, at the Mawa region of Cameroon. Wednesday, July 28, 2021, 4 persons aged 3, 15, 55 and 70 years reportedly lost their lives, while several others were injured following a ghastly motor accident.
Pour l'instant, le bilan de cet accident révèle.
So far, the overall statistics of this accident shows that 4 persons died and are already at the mortuary. 6 at the emergency unit, with 4 in critical condition. Those injured are being taken care of.
Prise en charge actuellement au niveau de l'accueil et urgence.
The accident at the Ndé Cleave involved a 70-seater bus belonging to the Nile Agency matriculated Littoral 658. The bus that left Gandhi and was heading to Marwa reportedly lost control and hit trees by the roadside. 4 persons died on the spot, while 24 others, including 4 said to be in critical condition, were rushed to the Gandhi Regional Hospital, where they are currently receiving treatment. Meantime, investigation has been opened by forces of law and order for details relating to the accident. The Minister Delegate at the Presidency in charge of Defense, Joseph Betty Asimo, concludes his 2-day working visit to Marwa, far north region of Cameroon, today after visiting soldiers wounded following Boko Haram attacks in the region. Our reporter Dolin Gandey focuses on his visit to recovering soldiers and say the head of state, President Paul Biya, has pledged his support. Her report.
When Yaoundé meets Marwa, it depicts consistent developments for survivors at the war front. Coming face to face with the brutality of the recent gun battles in Kmer and Zige, Joseph Betty Asomo alongside entourage confirmed the realities. Wounded soldiers, others on crutches, a few placed in psychological therapy, yet uninfluenced by the higher military commands, the survivor can better be termed a Spartan.
I'm here because I was one of the attack that took place in Kmer, but we are physically fit. If we get better, we are ready to get back in the world and to continue.
While ensuring that medical attention and facilities are in full gear, a moral boost and encouragement walking session chaired by Joseph Betty Asomo also made significance during his visit, in which President Biya's support and promise for a befitting burial to the fallen soldiers was relayed. The army never forgets its men. Whatever the circumstances right now, it sacrifices to the ultimate if necessary. In addition, a visit to the military hospital mortuary currently under construction also characterized his 2-day working visit to the far north region, as the minister delegate further encouraged and reminded the soldiers of the reality of the military's role, being the quest to maintain peace and tranquility at all times in society.
Police officers serving under the Limbe Central Police Command have been drilled on how to better manage criminal offences and report to competent authorities. Our reporter Kuma Honore says they had been trained in a capacity building workshop that began today in Limbe Southwest region of Cameroon. His report.
After inquiring and identifying the security needs of the population of Limbe 1, 2, and 3, it was imperative for the Central Police Station Commissioner to respond to the security needs of the population after embarking on a field visit to some localities and communities within his jurisdiction. It is within this framework that the Commissioner of the Limbe Central Police Station, Jean-Pierre Simon Yebe, organized a 5-day capacity building training to reinforce the knowledge and skills of judicial police officers to better handle criminal offenses and report them to the competent judicial authorities for legal follow-up. Addressing participants during the closing ceremony, the Limbe Central Police Commissioner Jean-Pierre Simon Yebe noted that it was necessary for the capacities of judicial police officers working in collaboration with him be reinforced to better equip them to render quality service to the population as prescribed by the law in force.
After inquiring identification on security needs, we carry out with the administrative, judicial, traditional, religious authorities and the forces of the sea of Limbe. It is important for us to organize our response to these needs.
For 5 days, participants were drilled on ethics and deontology, the disciplinary system of the national security, the role of the Public Security Commissioner, maintenance of law and order, the fight against criminality, among others. The workshop was facilitated by resource persons drawn from different professional backgrounds. Some of the facilitators include the Learned State Council of Limbe, Mr. Mba Orelim, the director of the Mutengene Police Academy, Dr. Nid Pierre, the representative of the Chief of Sector of Customs for the Southwest region, gender advocates, the commissioner of the People's Human Rights Defense, dubbed Fried International, among others.
He's trying to bridge the gap between the people and the police. I want to say that for these 5 days, we saw the seriousness that the participants put together in order to get this information.
The training was marked by a series of question and answer sessions posed by participants who were curious to have some of their worries clarified. The Central Police Boss disclosed to the press that the training will continue in the days ahead with administrative police officers of the Central Police Station and the 3 district police stations in Limbe to permit them meet up with the expectation of the population and their hierarchy. It is worth mentioning that the purpose of these trainings are intended to meet up with the security need of the Limbe population, as well as to prepare the town of Limbe to host the African Nations Cup come early next year.
Prime Minister Dr. Joseph John Guth has urged stakeholders to reinforce their efforts towards ensuring a hitch-free organization of the upcoming African Cup of Nations. The call was made during an evaluation meeting at the Star Building yesterday, July 28, 2022, with Nora Kakebi.
The Prime Minister has encouraged the major stakeholders charged with the different responsibilities geared towards the organization of AFCON competition come next year to intensify efforts towards a successful organization. The main objective of the evaluation meeting was to bring together those directly concerned to ensure a hitch-free competition. Professor Narcisse Mwele Kombi, Minister of Sports and Physical Education, confirmed at the evaluation meeting that logistics are all put in place. Infrastructures in host towns are ensured and all is going well for the official draw ceremony coming up on August 17.
As this draw ceremony is concerned, it's going to be organized at the 17th of August. Things are moving very well, and I can say that we are able to offer a very good ceremony.
On his part, the Minister of External Relations, Lejeune Belambela, says the new procedures put in place at the Cameroon consular and embassies are doing well to ensure quality services for visa acquisition. On behalf of the Minister of Defense, the Secretary of State in charge of the National Gendarmerie assures the population and international community that security preparations are being handled in the various host towns within the country. He added that they have gone the extra mile to take measures to provide security in hotels and other sites. The PM expressed happiness and satisfaction with regards to the level of preparedness so far. He therefore calls on all stakeholders to remain focused to ensure a hitch-free AFCON 2022. It should be recalled that just a few days back, members of the National Tourism Board discussed ways on developing the country's tourist and leisure potentials in an extraordinary session.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Prime News Live from Studio 1 of My Media Prime Television. Still ahead, the International Center for Research and Documentation on Tradition Languages has organized a two-day conference aimed at conserving archives in Central Africa for easy accessibility. The conference took place in Yaoundé. Cameroon's political capital. Staff lady Audrey Zadza tells us more.
Conservation and preservation of documentary heritage in Central Africa, pillars of reconciliation and peace building. This is the theme of the two-day international conference in Yaoundé, which started on July 28. Organized by the International Center for Research and Documentation on African Traditions and Languages, the overall aim of the conference was to promote the protection of documentary heritage in Central Africa in areas of conflict so as for data to be permanently accessible to all.
The main issue of this conference is to consolidate international data on the fact that empirically, from now henceforth, conservation and preservation should not be viewed as a cost. They should be viewed as an investment and a profitable investment. That's one. That's the most important, the fundamental. The one that is more topical is that given the expansion of conflicts in Africa and Central Africa in particular, how do we preserve and protect documentations and cultural heritage in such a way as to be able to reuse them afterward as keys and tools for conflict resolution, prevention, and as well as the consolidation of the culture of peace.
With the security situation in Central Africa still at stake after independence, which requires a broad action, including moving back to archives, the said conference, according to advisor to the Executive Secretary of Sedo Tola, is thus welcomed.
In 2013, when the latest civil war broke in Mali, terrorists from the north came with the claims, the irredentist claims and struggles of the Azawan part of the country. They sacked a good part of one of the oldest universities in Africa, the oldest university archives. You know that they were Muslim archives, so their manuscripts, lots of manuscripts were lost, and that basically raised the awareness. And the UNESCO program.
The Sedo Tola conference, in partnership with UNESCO, which ended this day, was opened to experts from memory institutions and documentary heritage professionals like librarians, historians, anthropologists, and policymakers.
Now, the draw ceremony for next year's African Cup of Nations has been scheduled for August 17, 2021 by the Confederation of African Football (CAF). CAF, in a letter addressed to Sports Minister Narcisse Mwelekombi Wednesday, July 28, announced the draw will take place at the Yaoundé Conference Center. Details with Joy Ngong.
August 17, 2021 at exactly 7 p.m. is the official date and time set aside by the Confederation of African Football (CAF) for the official draw ceremony of the 2021 edition of the African Cup of Nations. The information was made public on July 28 via a letter addressed to the president of the local organizing committee of the competition, Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Narcisse Mwelekombi, signed by CAF's Secretary General, Veron Musengo Omba. The letter carried forward the original date for the draws, which was August 15th, as was announced by CAF last Monday. Following the conclusion of the qualifying phase in March, with all the 24 countries now confirmed for the tournament in 2022, the group stages draw was first planned for June 25 in the country's political capital before it was postponed due to COVID-19 related issues. However, the 24 qualified teams will now know their opponents come August 17 during the live draws in Yaoundé, with Fcfa assuring CAF that all logistics have been sorted out for the event. The draw ceremony will be attended by some high-profile football icons such as Samuel Eto'o, Didier Drogba, George Weah, among others. This season of the African Cup of Nations is scheduled to take place from January 9th to February 6th, 2022, with several stadiums set to host the games across 5 cities in the country. Joining host Cameroon during the tournament is Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Ghana, Sudan, Malawi, the Gambia, and Gabon. Other countries like Morocco, Mauritania, Cape Verde, Egypt, Comoros, Zimbabwe, Senegal, Algeria, Guinea-Bissau, Tunisia, Equatorial Guinea, Ethiopia, Ivory Coast, and Nigeria have equally qualified. Algeria is the current reigning champions after beating Senegal 1-0 in the 2019 finals held in Egypt. Who will play against who during the tournament come 2022 will be an answered question after the draw ceremony on August 17 in Yaoundé.
And on Tokyo 2020 updates, Ivory Coast has obtained its qualification ticket for the quarterfinals of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The game, which marked the third day of play in Group D, saw a 1-1 tie on both sides. Ivory Coast now ranks second in Group D after Brazil with 7 points. The Elephants of Ivory Coast will have their next encounter this Saturday, where they will face Spain. We've come to the end of today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime Television. The news was compiled by Lasha Kingsley and produced by Ewan and Nolinga Ella. My name is Fon Quinta. At 7 p.m. is a Prime Hour with Kumluna. Stay tuned to more programs on the African Eye. Good night.